Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. As you can see, riding solo tonight. Uh, First time doing this live this year. So bear with me if there's any technical difficulties. Uh, right now, I'm using the mic off my Apple AirPods, so hopefully, you guys can hear me. If not, if someone is in this chat, go ahead and let me know. Week one of the NFL season kicked off today, Sunday night. Uh, a lot of things to talk about, bro. A lot of things. First of all, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have about this weekend or this Sunday in general. And besides the Raiders winning, which we'll get into shortly, there's one place to start off at. And I really am missing my boy Max with this one because I know me and him would have went at it for this one. But LA Chargers, man, lose to the Miami Dolphins 36-34 in a fucking absolute thriller. Okay. Tyreek Hill had 200 plus receiving yards, a bunch of touchdowns. Tua, same thing, 400 plus yards. Herbert did his thing. But I want to start off with the Chargers, but I want to start off with the Dolphins. All right. There's a lot of slander with the Dolphins, and specifically Tyreek Hill. Okay. Or Tyreek Hill. Sorry, Tua. Tua talking about I cannot talk tonight. Just Tua. Okay. Tua has been very disrespected past couple of years. And I thought he went out there and absolutely fucking balled. Okay. There's always that talk with him and Herbert and who's better and, you know, who's more talented, but Tua wins and Herbert doesn't. Look, point blank, man, you can't knock the kid this time. You cannot knock Tua. And I know it's week one and yeah, overreactions and all that, but whether you like it or not, Tua is here to fucking stay. And, you know, the concussion thing does scare me with his injury part, but as far as him being able to play and be a dominant player, I mean, it's fucking phenomenal. And you can argue, hey, track stars everywhere, Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle. Look, man, today he was putting the ball on point, bread in the basket, on the run, in the pocket. It was fucking great, dude. And the Dolphins are going to be really good. And I think going in this, we all knew that. And personally, I thought any competitor to the Buffalo Bills was going to be the Miami Dolphins. We're yet to see the New York Jets, but I was not a Jet writer when it comes to that. And, you know, Vic Fangio obviously was worth it because he won this game. I felt like if they didn't have Vic Fangio last year, they lose this game. And that was him sending that blitz on the last play of the game to sack Herbert. That's the difference in these type of games. It's the difference between winning and losing. And Fangio 100% was a factor in today's win as far for the Miami Dolphins. On the Chargers side, look, I can rip the Chargers any fucking way here, but point blank is this. What's the excuse now? That's how I feel. What the hell is the excuse now? You had Mike Williams. You had Keenan Allen. You had Rashawn Slater. You got Quentin Johnson. Hell, you got two running backs out there that are absolutely balling. You still wind up losing. You had a chance to win the game, and I know you can't win them all. I know it's week one, but how many times are we here with the Chargers? How many times are we here saying, oh, it's this, it's that? Look, point blank, man, the Chargers ain't going to get anywhere with Brandon Staley as their head coach. Point blank. You cannot give up, what was it right here? 36 points in your home opener. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're a defensive head coach, and your defense is soft as sharp. It's unacceptable. And as far as Herbert's side, it's always that something. Look, he's talented as shit. He's talented as fuck, bro. But there's always something with him, whether it's giving up a 28-point lead against the Jaguars or losing a game like this where they should have won. And I know this is hot take and maybe I'm overreacting for week one, but I lost a lot of confidence in the Chargers today. And luckily for them, the Chiefs are 0-1 and the Broncos are 0-1 and the division's probably going to be easy. So they have enough room to catch back up in this race regardless. But I just don't have confidence going forward with at least Brandon Staley. My prediction would be the offensive coordinator getting the head coaching job for the Chargers because I love their offense today as far as the running game specifically. Eckler and Joshua Kelly were running the hell out of the rock, and it's just a run game that we have not grown accustomed to seeing with the LA Chargers. And I thought it was fantastic to watch. But point blank is the Dolphins are really good. They're going to be a handful. They got a fucking track team. Tua needs some respect. And Brandon Staley is still not the answer for the LA Chargers. Okay. I thought we should start off the podcast there. Something else that caught my eye. Jordan Love. Jordan fucking Love. 38-20. The Packers beat the Bears. I got to give myself props. I got to pat myself on the back. I called this one. I came out in the Pick'em show on Thursday and predicted that the Packers were going to beat the Bears' ass. And this was true. And I don't think that the Bears are there yet. Do I still like Justin Fields? Yes. But all this talk about how DJ Moore is going to put him over the hump. Like, dude, you can't be the number one pick in the NFL. Have the number one pick in the draft and then add DJ Moore and think you're going to be a contender. Like, this is not the way it works. And they didn't do anything drastically to improve, in my opinion. They're still a bad football team. And are they going to be better than last year? Yeah. But the floor is kind of, pretty low to not improve. So on the Packers side, welcome to the Jordan Love era. I loved him coming out. He's finally getting his shot. And no Christian Watson, no problem. The Green Bay Packers are a really good football team. Their defense is solid. They have weapons on the offensive end. Like Aaron Jones has to be one of the most underrated football players in the league. He's absolutely phenomenal. Catching the ball, running the ball. They got the double-headed monster with A.J. Dillon. Romeo Dobbs out here catching 2 touchdowns. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see the Lions and the Packers go at it. Because I think the division's going to come down to that. Because we've seen what the Minnesota Vikings look like today. They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was one of those games where it's no one expects that. Baker Mayfield out here going 1-0. But it is week one. I do understand that. A lot of this is going to be overreaction. But it's confirming – a lot of these games are confirming what I thought going into the season. Like, I thought the Packers were going to still be good. I thought they were going to be fine without Rodgers. It looked like they're fine without Rodgers for week one. The Packer fans are just so lucky. Packer fans are lucky. They go from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love, it seems like. And, one thing to point out is LaFleur. It seems like he's finally get to run his offense. And there's been talks where Rodgers doesn't really let LaFleur make the play calls. Everything was catered to Rodgers and a little bit more of his style of play and verbiage. It seems like Jordan Love is running the show, and it's all LaFleur right now. Like, as far as play calling, it doesn't have no Rodgers over it, and I think it's a great fucking recipe, man. We got a couple people in the chat. D-Raw, what up? Something I learned of the Chargers need a new head coach and new cornerbacks. I started off the show with that D-Raw about the Chargers. They're not going to get it done with Brandon Staley. It's obvious, dude. It's so fucking obvious. Let's go ahead and go to another game. This one will be quick. San Francisco 49ers, 30-7. They beat the hell out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one I didn't see coming. I thought it was going to be an interesting game. Everyone was circling this game for game of the week as far as week one. And it was complete domination from start to finish. Christian McCaffrey looking like an absolute beast. Brock Purdy. What else can you say about Purdy, bro? I mean, he looked absolutely amazing. Brandon Ayuk caught 2 touchdowns. The defense looks so fucking dominant. Steelers, I'm going to give you a pass. It is the Niners. They are dominant as hell. And I don't believe that the Steelers are that team. It is week one. Like I said, these are a lot of overreactions. But it did not look good. It did not look good at all from start to finish. And the Steelers need to get back on it, bro. A lot of people are a believer in Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett. He did not look good today. That Niner defense was all over him. And shout out with the Niners defense as far as losing D'Amico Ryans, no fucking problem. It didn't look like their defense missed a step. So we'll see if that can continue for the Niners, and hopefully the Steelers can get back on track. Let's go ahead and move on to, oh my goodness, Colts, man. Colts and Jags. Anthony Richardson is a fucking treat to watch in the NFL. 31-20. Jaguars get the dub. Calvin Ridley had himself a game over 100 yards receiving. Trevor Lawrence, kind of much to be expected, you know. He's one of these guys where he winds up making a lot of mistakes, and this showed in this game. Threw a couple bad interceptions and fumbled the ball a couple of times off a crazy play with DeForest Buckner. But you got to love what you see out of the Colts. It's so hard because I too feel like if Jonathan Taylor plays this game, it's probably a different story. They struggled running the ball. Deion Jackson was not good today. He fumbled the ball. There was a 4th and 1 when Anthony Richardson, they tried to do the Philadelphia Eagles push play with the whole Jalen Hurts thing and all that. Newsflash, bro, I'm sorry. You're not the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't have Jason Kelce. You may have the big quarterback, but you don't have Jason Kelce. And I felt like that was the big difference with that play, because that's what the game came down to, was that 4th down play for the Indianapolis Colts. But Jags get the dub. I'm so excited to see Anthony Richardson every week. Did he make a couple bad decisions? Yeah. He was pressing the issue a little bit. But as far as him having poise and moxie, that calmness from a first-round pick, I think he had it all, you know? And the Colts are a bad football team in other areas, specifically in the running back position, like I said. And the offensive line is bad at times. But they're going to be fun to watch, and they're going to be another one of these teams. Kind of, I would compare maybe to the Bears of last year, you know, where Justin Fields makes a bunch of plays and, you know, he looks unstoppable at times, but they still wind up losing the game. That's how I'm feeling like the Colts are going to be this year. But Jags get it done. The Colts still can't beat the Jags. It's tough, man. But great AFC South showdown today with that one. Let's go ahead and move on to Them Eagles. Shout out to my boy Max. The Philadelphia Eagles started off this game similar to the Niners. Turnovers early, touchdown early. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. Big play Slay came out and had a pick six, and it was looking good. Zeke fumbled for the Patriots, but one thing that scares me about the Eagles is that at the end of the day, they did lose their defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator. And I think a little bit of that showed today. The offense was struggling. Now, granted, a lot of people think that the Patriots defense is pretty fucking good, and I would agree. But I do think there was a different type of energy out there with the offense without their usual guy calling plays that now in Indianapolis. So something to keep an eye on with the Eagles. They got the job done. It was a scary fucking thing, but thank God that their defense is stacked, man, because Jalen Carter was making plays. Who else? Jordan Davis, he had the fumble. And like I said, Darius Slay had the pick six. So they have talent everywhere. They're going to be good for a long time, but something to keep an eye on for their offense. Maybe it's going to at least take them a little bit of time to get where they were last year, of course. And as far as the New England Patriots, kind of up and down. Look, I love the fight that Bill Belichick team showed today, and the kid from LSU, Butte, I thought he played really good, and Kendrick Bourne had a couple of touchdowns. But New England's going to be the same. They're gonna win football games with their defense, if anything, and the offense just scares me. I don't like the Zeke Elliott thing. Ramondre Stevenson just shows every play, it seems like, why he should get way more of the bulkage, but Bill Belichick's an asshole and doesn't want to do that. Ramondre should be carrying the ball every single time. But Christian Gonzalez had a sack today on Jalen Hurts. I like the way he played. I want to go back and watch this game a little bit more in the all 22 just to see what exactly happened with Mac Jones and the offense at times against this Philly defense. Like, was it really Philly's talent on defense, or was it Mac Jones struggling? So we'll see. As my uncle, man, joins the stream. What up? Big win for them. Still hard place to go in and get the dub with Brady watching. I know they did that with Brady coming back to New England and getting his jersey retired or whatever they did. And at first it looked like it was going to be ugly, but they pulled out and fought for good old Tom. Couldn't get the dub, but at least they made it respectable, unlike some people on national television tonight. With the New York Giants, I didn't make a graphic for this. The Giants got pummeled tonight by the Dallas Cowboys 40-0. I think it was just one of those avalanche things, man. I still think the New York Giants are a good football team. And tonight, I think it just shows with Dallas, they're one of those teams where if they get going and things are going their way, it can get ugly fast. They proved that last year. You know, they blew out some pretty good teams last year at times. But let's see them in a playoff setting. Let's see them against a little bit better team than the Giants. And it seems like that they match up pretty well with them in general. So I wouldn't take too much into it. But definitely scares me with Dallas as far as them being able to do that with the new offense. You know, Dak Prescott looked comfortable tonight. CeeDee Lamb looked good. Tony Pollard. And, you know, that's scary. That's scary for the NFC East and the Eagles and specifically. But you just can't trust Dallas, man. You can't trust Dallas. I don't want to. They looked really good tonight, but I need to see more. Let me see more against a little bit better team. Okay, let's talk about – let's go to the Rams, man. 30-13. Under the radar, one of the biggest upsets today. Everyone was picking the Seahawks to win this one. LA came out and fucking dominated from the start. They had fifth string receivers out there balling out. Matthew Stafford threw for 300 yards. Uh, Kyron Williams had a couple of touchdowns. Aaron Donald was doing his thing on defense, and they fucking manhandled the Seattle Seahawks on defense. The Seahawks couldn't do anything on offense. I think Geno had like 124 passing yards. They couldn't do shit. And this is one of those things where it's like, okay, week one, how much do we put in this? But Matthew Stafford is still really fucking good. And not only that, the Rams have Sean McVay. And Sean McVay is a hell of a head coach, man. And it's one of those things where the great coaches work with what they got. And that's what makes a really good head coach. You know, an example, I'm going to bring up the Chargers again, but, you know, Brandon Staley, it's always, we didn't have this guy. We don't have that guy. We don't have enough talent. And I don't have my guys in. Sean McVay from the fucking start has always put up competition and great game plans every single year, whether the Rams were good or not. Did they have a bad record last year? Yes, but they were working with a guy off the street in Baker Mayfield at times. But they were still competent at times. They beat the shit out of the Broncos last year on Christmas, I believe. Like just certain things like that, where if you fall asleep against them, they will kick your ass because they have Sean McVay. And McVay's still a hell of a head coach. And you always got to be prepared with him, man. He's not one of these guys where he's going to lay down and just not be good. They still got Stafford. They still got Donald. I know Cooper Kupp is hurt, but looks like it don't really fucking matter, man, because they got some dude named Nuawu or whatever his name is. I don't even know how to say his name. Dude catching 50-yard bombs out there. I mean, it was fucking crazy. I'm excited to see them throughout the season and see if they're for real or not. But hey, man, that's why Sean McVay is one of the top head coaches in the league because of situations like that. Let's go on to my boy, man, Derek Carr starts off the season with a dub. New Orleans Saints 16, Tennessee 15. This was an ugly game. It really was because there was turnovers on both sides. Tannehill threw like 3 interceptions. Carr threw 1. Both teams couldn't score touchdowns. It seemed like it was just field goals all over the place. And it was a Tennessee Titans kind of game. If you watch the Tennessee Titans, this is the way they want it. They want to grind out, ugly game, run with Derrick Henry. A turnover is going to decide the game. And they lost it. They lost it, man. The Saints won this game with a ballsy ass play call. Third down, need a first down to win. Tennessee has been stopping New Orleans all game, and Derek Carr goes deep to I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Rashid or something like that, the third string wide receiver, and throws an absolute dime. Bread in the basket, game over. And it was a hell of a play, man. It was really good to see that. You know, me and my brother were watching that game together, and we kept on saying, like, man, this looks like a Raider game. It looks like a Raider game. Great drive to start off and very first drive of the game, and it ends with a field goal, or you're looking like you're going to take control of the game, and Carr throws an interception. Kind of how Raider games look in the past for the past 9 years. And me and my brother are, you know, close fans to that. And they got it done, though. They got it done. Chris Olave looked good. Michael Thomas resurgence. He was getting in the mix. And the Saints defense, they're fucking legit, man. Along with the Tennessee Titans. Both of these defenses are at least top 10 in the league. They played phenomenal. Cameron Jordan was all over the place, and it was really good to see those defenses go at it. And as far as the Titans, I don't know how much longer they can go with Tannehill if he continues to play like this. It seems like he's left off right where he stopped last year. Like he's just throwing pick after pick, and I don't know if Malik Willis is the answer necessarily, but if he has a better chance of them winning football games, hey, why not throw in the kid? Um, I, I don't know what else to say with the Tennessee Titans, but Tannehill's not the answer, dude. And if they expect to win ugly, if you're gonna win ugly like that, you might as well go all in and go with Malik Willis. At least you have that dynamic option of running the football with the quarterback instead of Tannehill. All right. So Saints start off the season with a dub. Let's go to it's time. It's time. All right. Las Vegas Raiders, number one in the AFC West as of right now, 1-0, beat the Denver Broncos in Denver 17-16. Look, man, if you guys watched this game, it was ugly. It was an ugly game all the way around, okay? Sean Payton started off this game with an onside kick, trying to prove a point, make a statement early, trying to say we play to win and all this stuff. And the whole broadcast, it was just Sean Payton this, Sean Payton that, Sean Payton this. I was fucking annoyed of it. And I think the aftermath of this game, the best way to put it was both of these teams are poorly coached. As far as right now, they're poorly coached. And I can say that as a Raider fan confidently. The Raiders had over 100 yards of penalties today. Fucking big shocker. It's the Raiders. But the Broncos, too, they had numerous opportunities to break this game open, and they could not take advantage of it. Did Russell Wilson look competent today? Yeah, but let's be honest. They put up 16 points. That's it. Nothing changed, and nothing is going to change. Their offense is not meant to be this high-powered New Orleans Saints 2010 with Drew Brees, and I'm going to, resurrect Russell Wilson's career. It's not going to happen, dude. I'm sorry. Cortland Sutton, he's not a number one receiver. Javonte Williams did not look healthy today. They don't know who the running back is. The offensive line is not all that good. Their defense is really good, but their offense, like this whole thing of people being high on the Broncos just because of the plain fact of Sean Payton. I think one of the biggest statements that I heard from Sean Payton in the offseason was the reason why he came to Denver was not Russell Wilson. He came to Denver for one, in my opinion, probably because of money, because they have a new ownership and they're paying him a shit ton of money. But it wasn't for Russ. This is going to be a process. Do I think Sean Payton's a bad head coach? No. I just don't think he wants Russ as his quarterback. He's going to get rid of him right now. You can't get rid of him. You have to play him with the contract involved. But as far as him, Denver for the future, he's going to have to rebuild that team. They're not in win now mode. And that showed today. And like I said, I sound like a broken record this episode. But it's week one. I know it's overreaction, but that's how I've always felt about the Broncos. And I wish Max was here because I know we're so divided on the Broncos. And he's on hashtag Let's Ride and Let Russ Cook. They did not look good today. And neither did the Raiders. It was an ugly win. Ugly win. But the Broncos missed a couple of field goals. They missed an extra point. They missed a field goal with Will Lutz. They had an opportunity where the Raiders ran into the punter, gave them another opportunity to score in the red zone. Couldn't take advantage of it. Typical Broncos shit. They had a touchdown that could have been an easy one if Philip Dorsett would have just known where the out of bounds was. So there was just a lot of shit in that game, man, where it comes back to poorly coached. And the Raiders red zone turnovers with Jimmy G, but it's welcome to the Jimmy G show. This is how the Raiders are gonna win because this is had Jimmy G game written all over it. Really bad decisions, scratch your head type of decisions, but winds up getting the job done. It's kind of it. And his defense bails him out because the Raiders defense did bail him out today. When they needed stops, they got the stops. Shout out to Jacoby Myers. He looked really good. And Patrick Surtain on the Broncos. Hell of a player. He kept Devontae in check for the most part. And he's probably one of the only guys that I see do that from all over the league. And that's high praise right there. Trying to maintain a guy in Devontae Adams. Regardless, I'm happy. I'm happy that the Raiders won. I'll fucking take it. 7-0, motherfuckers. 7-0. That goes to you, Max. 7-0. Seven in a row against the Denver Broncos. Raider Nation all day. All right, let's go to some of the comments. My uncle said, nice way to stick with it. Gotta love the way the Raiders defense held. Yeah, exactly, man. You gotta love the way they held. They had some big stops in that one, man. They were frustrating at times with all the penalties and stuff, but the aftermath of it, they got the stops and they got the job done. All right, let's go ahead and go to stick in the AFC West. All right, this one was a couple of days ago. Kansas City Chiefs against the Detroit Lions. Lions with the biggest win of week one, you can argue. Go to the defending champs' house and win 21-20. Jared Goff undefeated against Patrick Mahomes. You gotta love it. You gotta absolutely love it, man. And one thing that I regret not saying in the previews about the Kansas City Chiefs is asking the question, is this team a Travis Kelce injury away from not being good? And I would say, as far as them winning the division, I do think this is going to affect them, depending on how long he's out. He might be back week 2, but he's a difference maker, and it was 100% noticeable. I don't think we should go crazy and say, hey, Patrick Mahomes is not legit and this and that. Look, Patrick Mahomes is just fucking fine. He made just enough plays in that game to win. His receivers just dropped the ball. Straight up. Kadarius Toney lost them that game, arguably. In his hands, dropping balls left and right. Big plays, man. And they could not capitalize. And as far as on the defense with Chris Jones, it didn't really show all that much. But to me, it's more of a distraction rather than on the field production, because I do think their defense played pretty good, and their defensive line in particular, some certain guys stepped up. But every time we're going to watch the Chiefs now, that's going to be the number one topic on defense. The number one thing, Chris Jones. Chris Jones is missing. Chris Jones haven't signed. And to me, that's just another distraction. And am I going to go out on a limb and say that the Chiefs are going to suck until Travis Kelce and Chris Jones play? No. But I think when you are playing a really good team like the Detroit Lions, where their two biggest advantages as a football team are in the trenches, offensive line and defensive line for the Lions, it's going to show like it did on Thursday Night Football. And Jared Goff and St. Brown and that offense, like they got to get Jahmyr Gibbs the ball more. I think he's a talented-ass rookie that can really explode on the scene. And I can't wait to see the Lions and the Saints. I think that's going to be a hell of a matchup. I want to see how those two teams play. And, excuse me, not the Saints, sorry. The Lions and the Packers. The Lions and the Packers in the NFC North. And I want to see how that plays out. Because I do think the Vikings are obviously dropping a little bit. The Bears ain't shit. So I think that division is going to come down to the Lions and the Packers. I want to see Jordan Love against Jared Goff. I really want to see who takes a hold of that division. But shout out to the Lions getting the dub. The Chiefs will be fine. Travis Kelce will be back. They're going to win some games. Hopefully, they can get Chris Jones back. Uh, it's to be determined because at the end of the day, still got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. All right. Speaking of the NFC North, Minnesota Vikings lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm kind of mad at myself, man. I'm mad at myself because I should have picked the Bucks. I wanted to deep down inside, but I couldn't do it because of Baker. But Baker got it done. Baker got it done, man. And one thing that I noticed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is their defense. Their defense came out to play. Devin White looks like he has a little bit more pep to his step this year. I don't know if it's because of a contract year or what it is, but that whole defense for Tampa Bay, as long as they're not guarding Justin Jefferson, played phenomenal. Like Justin Jefferson had a lot of yards today, but he's Justin Jefferson. He gets that against anyone. But as far as holding them down, like they held the Vikings to 17 points. And they had one busted coverage really with the Jordan Addison touchdown. As far as that, man, they kept the hold. And Baker got it done. And Tampa Bay is going to be one of those interesting teams because they're in the NFC South. And the NFC South, it's still wide open because Atlanta won today, yes, but I still don't know what to think of Atlanta because one thing that I'm just going to say right now that I'm fucking super wrong on is the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young looked fine, but talent-wise, DJ Chark missing and my way wrong analysis of the offensive line on the Carolina Panthers, they're bad. They're really bad on the offensive line. And their defense just, it got destroyed today. Bijan Robinson scored a touchdown. Tyler Algier had a couple of touchdowns. The Falcons dominated. The Falcons absolutely dominated. And it bugs me because I'm a Bijan Robinson fantasy owner. But that backfield with Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson has to be up there as far as top duo. A lot of people forget Tyler Algier last year, rookie, he ran for over 1,000 yards. And then you add Bijan Robinson to the mix. They got a strong rushing attack, dude, and it showed today. And they're gonna lean on that. They're an Arthur Brown fucking team. Drake London had 0 receiving yards today, and they dominated. Kyle Pitts, no touchdowns. I think he had like 20 yards receiving. They still won. This is their recipe. They're gonna run the football to death. They're not gonna let Desmond Ridder lose the game for them. So that's why it's going to be interesting when they play teams like Tampa Bay or New Orleans, where if their defense plays like they do today with New Orleans and Tampa Bay, they're going to stop that run game. So we'll see how it turns out with the NFC South. Falcons look good. Panthers don't. They're looking like they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And this week 1, maybe it's an overreaction, but that's honestly how I feel, man. Look, I think I'm missing one game. I don't have the graphic for it, but we need to talk about it. Let's go ahead and talk about the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns against the Cincinnati Bengals. They get fucked up today, the Bengals. Another upset today. Look, man, if you guys remember, the Bengals got their ass kicked last year. I wouldn't say ass kicked like this, but they did lose to the Steelers week 1 with Joe Burrow throwing like 4 interceptions, I think it was, or 5, and he got sacked like 10 times, something along those lines. The Bengals were talking a lot of shit this game, man, specifically Jamar Chase, and Cleveland punched them in the fucking mouth, damn near. Like, their defense looked pretty fucking good. One guy that went under the radar this year that me and Max talked about. I remember talking about him in the preview. Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith is a guy. He used to be on the Packers. He used to be on the Packers, and then he went to the Minnesota Vikings last year. Dominated both years. Nobody wanted him this year. And you know who winds up picking him up? The Cleveland Browns. And now all of a sudden, they got one of the best duos as far as rush defenders. They got Myles Garrett and they got Zadarius Smith. And both of those guys wrecked fucking havoc today for the Cleveland Browns. Denzel Ward, put your money where your mouth is. He did a great job on Jamar Chase, held him in check. T. Higgins, everyone's in love with T. Higgins. 0 catches. Donuts. Straight goose egg on the stat line. The Bengals got punched in the mouth, and you know, I hate to say it, but if the Browns wind up being a problem, the Bengals can beat everyone, but if they have to get through Cleveland and Cleveland just matches up well, it's not going to be good news. Do I think the Bengals are going to do bad this year and I'm going to hop off the wagon? No, of course not. But as far as in division rivals and how Cleveland plays them, they play them tough, man. And as a Bengal fan, you have to be somewhat concerned because this is not the first time this has happened. So, on the Cleveland Browns, another thing, offense-wise, Deshaun Watson. It's good to see him look decent. I wouldn't say he played great or anything. This game offensively, you could argue this fact too that it was raining like hell. It was just an ugly game as far as weather-wise. It was slippery out there and couldn't really throw the ball. So maybe throw that into consideration. But Deshaun didn't look all that good. Same thing, kind of played almost the same as Burrow besides those couple touchdown drives. They ran the ball with Nick Chubb, which they should. They have one of the best offensive lines. But this game, just because they won, doesn't mean I'm like, okay, Deshaun, he's here. That's the top 5 quarterback I knew. No, he didn't look like that. Their defense played amazing. Cleveland's a problem on D, but I'm yet to see the offense. Let's see how the offense does. And need to see multiple weeks of this. Is it good to see Deshaun get a game under and see him rush in the end zone? Yeah, but don't be worried about the Bengals and don't put too much stock into Deshaun Watson. Look at the Cleveland Browns defense more than Deshaun Watson. That's the real story here with that domination. All right. I think that's it, man. I know there's a couple of games that I'm missing. I talked about the Sunday night game. I believe that's it, though. Let's go ahead and go to some comments, all right? First time I've ever seen the Chiefs think that they can just show up and win. You think that they would know that you can't sleep on the Lions any given Sunday. 100%, man. 100%. I hate to say it, but it feels like that with them in the past couple of years with Patrick Mahomes. He can just show up and him make plays. But this is our first time seeing Patrick Mahomes without Travis Kelce. So that's a part of it too. And that's something to consider with it, man. All right. If I missed any games, let me go ahead and double check. Because I did do these games kind of late with Max missing. Max is usually my graphics guy. So he does most of the graphics for me. Today I had to go solo dolo. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, okay. We'll briefly touch on this one. Okay, Arizona and Washington. I was more disappointed in Washington. I know it's the NFL and you get a dub, you get a win where you need to. I thought Washington should have came out and dominated this football game. They didn't. Arizona had a shot to win this game with Joshua freaking Dobbs. Zaven Collins was making plays out there. Sam Howell made some pretty bad mistakes at times. But nonetheless, they got the job done. got the win in their home opener, and that's all that matters. But I'm looking for a lot more from the Washington Commanders, man. I need more. And Arizona, as I figured, they suck. Okay, they're one of the worst teams in the league. Okay, I think I'm going to end it there. 45 minutes in. I appreciate you guys rocking with us, man. Thank you to D-Rob. Thank you to my Uncle Carlos, man, in the chat for tonight. Make sure to hit us back on either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. We'll be coming out with that pick'em episode for week 2. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Comment down below whatever thoughts, opinions that you guys have about week 1. And make sure to like the video, man. It doesn't take much to do it. It helps us out a grip, helps us grow, helps us get on that YouTube homepage possibly. And don't forget to check out our other videos, man. Just came out with a Max Crosby video who had a sack today against Russell Wilson. Go ahead and check that out. We worked really hard on those MJC originals. As far as tonight, I think I'm going to be signing out. Appreciate you guys rocking with me. Peace.